Hi friends, you are on the F1 Life channel. In this video we discuss how Valtteri Bottas could return to Mercedes, but no longer as a main driver. His retirement from Formula One in 2025 is not the end, but perhaps the beginning of a new phase in his career. Ready to find out all the details? Let's dive into the world of transfer rumors, team strategies, and unexpected twists of fate. Stay tuned. It's going to be interesting. Valtteri Bottas will officially retire from Formula One in 2025, but that doesn't mean his association with the sport is over. The team with whom he scored 10 victories and didn't miss a single Q3 session may well work with the Finn again to utilize his experience to improve their car. With that in mind, can we expect Bottas to take up a behind-the-scenes job at Mercedes? And more importantly, will it keep him in shape for new opportunities at other teams? It's safe to say that Bottas's departure from F1 is a grief for fans of the sport. But unfortunately, in this kind of business, if you don't perform well, you're excluded, regardless of whether it was a team error. It is for this reason that Bottas and Zhou have been replaced by Hülkenberg and probably Barretto. Whilst the situation for Zhou with his future in F1 doesn't look too promising, it's a different story for Bottas. He is now likely to return to Mercedes in a reserve driver role. Bottas was Lewis Hamilton's teammate from 2017 to 2021. Winning 10 races. His most impressive achievement was probably the fact that he didn't miss a single Q3 entry during those years. However, despite showing championship potential, he never managed to surpass Hamilton and step out of his shadow. Nevertheless, Bottas is not claiming an active role in the Brackley team. At this point, he is very likely to return to a team that began to experience serious difficulties immediately after his departure, with the start of the ground floor era. Mercedes still don't understand exactly what went wrong with their car, and after Chauvelin's recent claims that the car still suffers from the same slow cornering issues as before the upgrades, it's worth noting that Bottas' experience will prove useful behind the scenes. After all, this is the man who knows how to win races. Although many believe that Bottas deserved a place at Alfa Romeo, the team has chosen a different path, focusing on an influx of young drivers. This will probably open up good prospects for Bottas in the medium term, as not all of these young drivers will be able to produce the results needed to stay in F1. It's worth remembering the situation with Nico Hülkenberg, who missed 3 years from 2019 to 2022 working as a reserve driver for several teams, before getting a call-up from Haas and replacing the struggling Mick Schumacher. The move proved successful, and comparing the profiles of the two drivers suggests Bottas could fit in very well with a team whose car is capable of scoring points on a regular basis. Even Mercedes have hinted at a possible return for Bottas when discussing his future. He thanked Alfa Romeo for the opportunity and said that all options are open for him, including a return to the Mercedes family. Bottas added, "First of all, my priority is to stay as a racing driver. That's what I want, and that's what we're working on now. But of course, as I don't have a signed contract, we are already in October, and I have to consider all the alternatives. One of them, of course, is to go back to Mercedes. That's definitely an option I will consider. But there are other options as well. What does that have to offer Mercedes? As well as an experienced driver who will work hard behind the scenes to help get the team back on the winning track. Bottas could also replace one of the drivers, Russell or Hamilton, if the latter is unable to race for whatever reason. This will give Mercedes the opportunity to utilize a driver who will not be in limiter and survival mode, but will be looking to get points and fight for podiums. This will certainly be good for Bottas, who, despite his experience, is not yet ready to end his career. F1 remains a priority for him, and with 5 years' experience at Mercedes, it's safe to assume that he will quickly fit into the team and be able to provide valuable feedback on the car's behavior and weaknesses. Mercedes have already started talking about their plans for 2025, and it's definitely something Bottas should keep a close eye on. If he is selected for the reserve driver role, he will have to work closely with the engineers he has already worked with, but certainly without having to interact with James Vowles or listen to the famous Valtteri. It's James's on the radio. At this stage, Bottas would probably prefer to accept the role of reserve driver rather than stay at Alfa Romeo. Mercedes on-track engineer Andrew Chauvelin spoke about the car's problems, and that the main challenge for 2025 will be to improve its core performance. We believe there are some fundamental issues that need to be addressed on this car to fix them on the W14 We're working very hard on that now, and hopefully the changes we'll make over the winter will help us not face those challenges in 2025. Bottas can definitely be labeled as the right decision for Mercedes as already mentioned, he is ready to get involved and help the team with the development of the car. The problems with slow corners, which are the main pain point of Mercedes, can be solved thanks to his feedback. But of course, we can't leave out the fact that Bottas has always been perceived as a second driver at Mercedes. Coming back to the team as a reserve driver would probably be painful for his ego, given that he has won 10 races. But the nature of the sport has changed, and although Barretto has yet to win an F2 championship, his successes and Alonso's negotiating skills have created that situation. Bottas may have to accept that. On the other hand, Bottas may consider other options outside of Formula One if he feels his time in this championship has passed. One such option could be the World Endurance Championship, WEC, 1996. World champion Damon Hill has spoken about the importance of Bottas considering all his options, and how the focus on F1 drivers is very different to other series. However, in order to stay in the spotlight, Bottas needs to be behind the wheel, rather than working behind the scenes. Hill said, "I think it's very difficult these days. Formula One is so popular and so big that when a driver is in F1, he's always in the limelight, no matter what he's doing. But when he leaves, the interest in him drops dramatically. We've seen Schumacher pushing environmental initiatives, but he needed F1 to do that. The outside world is very different, and if you're a driver who still has a lot to give, like Bottas, you want to be behind the wheel." In the end, Bottas probably won't be competing in Formula One for the next year or two, unless the situation with the young drivers becomes so dramatic that he is offered a replacement. But regardless of how we feel about it, Bottas could leave Formula One and try his hand at another championship. Hill continued, "I can see Bottas following in Webber's footsteps and taking a seat in the WEC or something similar, rather than sitting idle. Coming to races and being a spare is not the most fun if you've already been on the grid. Do you think Bottas deserves what has happened to him, and will he accept the role of reserve driver at Mercedes? Write your opinion in the comments. Thanks for watching this video to the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.